Hey, sister friend, welcome back to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay, and today we're talking about a revolution, but not the kind that happens in conference rooms or on Capitol Hill or even on social media. The kind that happens in your soul, in your heart, when you finally realize that the belonging you're so desperately seeking through your body size was never about your body at all. If you're listening today, then we are talking about belonging, because this is something that has been coming up in my one-on-one sessions with my private clients. And I want you to get a surge of energy. I want you to go out and do something this summer. I want you to rock it. I want you to create your own personal revolution within yourself to stop showing up mediocre and to stop showing up drained because you're not fueled. I can't wait to share today's episode with you, girl. Let's get to it. Hey, girl. Welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you. Because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess, trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it. So you can start living your best life as your best self. Welcome back, sis. I am ready to record today's episode, and then I'm going to start packing. I vow to begin packing. So the boys and I are taking a much needed beach vacation. We do this every year, and we stay for a glorious 2 weeks, and I cannot wait. So yes, you will be hearing me on the show. Yes, I am going to do my best not to do any work while I'm gone. And that means that I might be also sharing with you some brand new episodes, but also some of my most favorite episodes, because I want to be able to soak up the sun and all that the beach has to offer. I really feel like the beach is a place where I get my creative juices flowing. And if I'm being super authentic and transparent with you, which is what this podcast is all about, it's where God speaks to me. Like, I will literally walk down to the beach, sit in the sand, and it's where I actually got the idea of a podcast to begin with. And so I value that time, and I'm really looking forward to that time. And I hope that you have something fun that is right around the corner for you that you can look forward to in your life as well. But if you're listening today, you are probably in a place where you have built your entire life full of achievements. You also may be in a place where you almost feel like you're an outsider in your own life. I was thinking about how I used to feel getting ready to go away to a beach trip, having to restrict or like do hard workouts up until that point, just because I wanted to feel worthy enough, just because I wanted to fit in or belong. And maybe right now you feel like you are so tired of exercising until you're exhausted, and so tired of restricting your food until you're depleted. And you've been telling yourself that this is healthy, but you and I both know the truth, sis, because you're listening to the show. It's not healthy. What you're doing, it hasn't been healthy for a while now. And there is no room for shame here. But what I want to share with you today is that it's okay to feel your feelings, but let's at least get real with why you're feeling like an outsider in your own life, why you're feeling like something just has to change, but you feel like you have no energy to change it. Sis, this is all about belonging. Today, we're dismantling the lie that your worth is measured in weight and your worth is earned through restriction. So I want you to get ready to step into a truth that is so powerful for you. It is going to change the way that you can show up in your world right now. And I want to start by just telling you something that's going to sting at first, because you know that I like to give my honest truths to you, but it's also going to set you free. Your obsession with your weight, it has nothing to do with your weight. So if you are terrified to gain weight, gosh, I lived in this for so many years of my life, and everything you do is around making decisions and choices to not gain weight or to even lose weight, it could be coming from a wounded belief that you don't belong. If you wake up every single morning and your first thought isn't, how can I hit it hard today to show up and impact this world? How can I serve other people? How can I live my purpose out? If it's not that, but it's, how much do I weigh? What did I eat yesterday? How can I control my body today? So that maybe, just maybe, someone will say, well done. Brene Brown's research shows us that the need for belonging is one of our most fundamental human drives. But here is where it gets twisted. You've convinced yourself that belonging is conditional and that it requires the right size jeans and that it requires the perfect body and it requires the most disciplined relationship with food. I was looking back and thinking about where I picked up these little things throughout my life that contributed to my body size being my worth. And one of them was this concept around like, you can't sit with us energy. I remember going into my middle school and high school and having friends that I so desperately wanted to like me, so desperately wanted to fit in with. And I always felt like I wasn't good enough to sit with them. And if you've come from that place where you just so much want to belong, but you don't feel like you've earned a seat at the table, oh my gosh, do I see you, sis. It's time to really get present with this, because this concept around wanting to belong, it's innate in you. Of course it is. But your body's screaming at you for rest because you think exhaustion equals worthiness, or restricting your food intake until your brain can barely function because you think that no longer feeling being hungry makes you superior than anyone else. Like, I hate to say these things out loud, but these are things I thought. You've turned your body into a project instead of recognizing it as your home. This is your home. It's your home. And you know what's the cruelest part of all of it? The smaller that you make yourself, the less space that you take up, the more invisible you become in the process. You're trying to belong by disappearing. And this is the most tragic thing that I've ever witnessed in my own self and in so many women. But here is what nobody tells you. The people who belong, the people that you admire to be like, the people that truly belong aren't the smallest ones in the room. They're the ones who show up fully and present and unapologetic and taking up the space that they deserve because they know that their worth isn't negotiable. They know that their worth is not based on a tag size or what they ate for breakfast. Studies from Harvard reveal that the quality of our relationships determines our happiness and health more than any other factor. Not your dress size, not your workout routine, your connections to other people. And you can't connect authentically when you're performing, when you're putting on this mask, when you're pretending that this is who you are because you think that that is what the world wants you to be. You can't do it by restricting food. So I want us to talk about the identity, because that's what it is, sis. It's wanting to belong so much that you've built an identity around what you think other people want from you. If you've built an identity around like the fit one, the disciplined one, this is where your power has been hijacked. And that doesn't mean that you can't be a fit person, okay? But you've made restriction your religion and you've put your body at the altar. And I'm just going to say it like it is because you know I will. Every time you've declined dessert, every time you've skipped on the carbs or restricted your intake or done an extra workout, every time you say, I'm not hungry, when you are hungry, but you're suppressing the hunger, these are not acts of discipline. These are acts of desperation. They are desperate attempts to maintain an identity that you think keeps you safe because you're not going to be rejected if you show up in this world with how other people want to see you. Here is the revolutionary truth. The identity that is keeping you safe is the exact same identity that is keeping you small. And please do not take that as a positive. When you define yourself as the one who doesn't eat carbohydrates, when you talk about yourself as the one who never misses a Monday, who never misses a workout, yada, 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 all the things that the fitness influencers want you to believe is actual life when in fact it is not, the one who has the most willpower at meals, you're not building an identity. You're building a prison. And the bars are made out of other people's opinions. Research from the Center for Mindful Eating shows that 95% of people that are struggling with food restriction report feeling different or misunderstood by other people. You think you're the only one who gets the importance of control? But what if that's just the story that you tell yourself to avoid truly being seen? Sis, I remember, and I still struggle with this today, like truly being seen, which is why it's so ironic that I have a podcast where I truly want you to see me. Like, I hope you feel like you know my life, because that is the purpose of the show. It's also to help shed truth and love and to get to know you and connect with you and serve you at an utmost level of impact, because that's the purpose that God's put over my life. The hardest part of my life was being vulnerable and really allowing people to truly see who I was. And that is why when I was chained to the disorder, I could pretend all those things. It was wearing that filter, that mask. And it was so hard to untangle that for a while because I believed the lie that I was her. But what if I told you that the woman who eats the ice cream at the summer party, or who laughs loudly without calculating calories, or who takes up space without apologizing for it, what if she is the one who actually belongs? And what if belonging isn't about being perfect at all, but just being present? Because you've been operating from the belief that if you gain weight, you're going to lose your place in this world. And that is truly how I felt. Like, how will other people see me if I'm not the smallest friend? But I want you to flip that script on your own thoughts. What if the weight that you're afraid to gain is actually the weight of your authentic self? What if the loss of control that you fear so deeply is actually the reclaiming of your power? I love Brené Brown, and she says this quote, "True belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world." Sis, your authentic self, it isn't disciplined. Your authentic self is not controlled. Your authentic self is not earned. She's alive and she's free, and her worth is already claimed. So why aren't you claiming it? Why aren't you claiming it? Let's get real about this obsession to external validation, because this is where your eating disorder is taking away all of your power. Every compliment about your discipline, it gives you that hit of dopamine. Every comment about your dedication, it feeds the disorder. Every admiring glance at your willpower, or, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how you stay so small," or all the things that people say, it just becomes evidence to you that your worth strategy is working, that restriction is working. But is it? Because here's what's really happening. You're outsourcing your sense of belonging to people who have no business determining your value. 91% of college girls on college campuses attempt to control their weight through dieting. We live in a culture where restriction is praised and it's called self-care. But validation addiction or obsession or whatever label we want to put on it is just like anything else. The highs get shorter and the lows get deeper. And the more and more you need that affirmation or that external approval to make you feel temporarily worthy. And if it doesn't come your way, then you start questioning, you start body checking, you start spiraling into more restriction or more exercise or more control. But here's your wake up call. And this is why I wanted to really bring this to be as like a revolution for you. The belonging that you're seeking through other people's approval is never going to be sustainable. Not because they don't like you, not because you don't fit in, but because it's not real. Real belonging, girl. It comes from the inside out, not the outside in. Real belonging comes from the inside out, not the outside in. Who you are isn't your workout schedule. Who you are isn't your meal plan. Who you are isn't your ability to say no to food when you wish you could say yes. Who you are is a powerful and worthy and magnificent and vibrant person and woman who deserves to take up space in this world with everything that you are. And the validation that you're seeking from other people, I want you to give it to you. The approval that you're earning through restriction, that superiority complex that you get from skipping when everyone else says yes. What are you doing to you? The belonging that you're chasing through your body, it was always yours to claim because you're not your body. So this summer, I wanted to stage a revolution. Actually, I want you to stage a revolution because we're not fighting against our body. We're not. We're fighting for our body. You're not fighting against food. You're fighting against your freedom to have it in abundance. You're not going against yourself in this season. You are fighting for yourself and for your soul and for your purpose. What would it look like to show up to gatherings as the woman who belongs? Not because she's earned it through her step count, not because she's earned it because she didn't have breakfast before she came, but because she's claimed it through courage. What would it feel like to order something that you wouldn't have ordered a year ago? Just because you want to see how it tastes, not because you've calculated whether or not you can have it. And what would it mean to you this year if you could go get your swimsuit on, not because you were so ready for the world to see your body, but because you've realized that your body was always perfect for living your life. As a matter of fact, it's a perfect day to go to the beach. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like you have the body to go to it. Belonging, it's something that is a larger part of us. We want to belong. We want to. But don't get this confused with fitting in, okay? Because you don't need to become someone you're not to be accepted. When you belong, it's being somewhere where you can be seen and you can be yourself. And the eating disorder robs you of being your best self. And so this summer, I want you to choose belonging over fitting in. I want you to choose being present because you belong at that barbecue. You belong at that event. You belong on the beach. I want you to choose that over other people's opinions of you and over how you feel you need to look in order to go. But I'm not going to send you away from today's show with just a little inspiration. I'm going to send you away with some ammunition to upcharge and jumpstart this. Okay, I want you to take away something to implement this week. There's a couple of different methods that I want to share with you. Number one, I'm going to call this the mirror method. Every single morning, before you check your phone, before you roll into your day, I want you to stand in front of your mirror. It's kind of like Mel Robbins' high five habit. But I want you to say to yourself, I belong here in this body, in this life, in this world. And not because what I weigh, but because of who I am. This rewires your brain. It takes away the criticism and it allows you to celebrate living. Here's the next thing that you can try on. This is a challenge when it comes to food. So this week, I want you to choose. I want you to think of one food that you've been restricting and that has been on your mind. And maybe it's ice cream. Maybe it's bread at dinner with friends. The goal isn't the food. It's practicing belonging while nourishing yourself. So it's experiencing that. It's going into the fear, being surrounded by people that love you or people that can hold you accountable for what you really want in life. Notice, no one cares what you're eating as much as you think they do. And so eating mindfully one of your fear foods is something that can be a great experience in a setting with other people because that can feel a little bit different than doing it with yourself. The third practice is to reclaim some of that energy that you've been drained from. So instead of over-exercising to earn that belonging or to earn that badge of honor, move your body in ways that make you feel powerful. Maybe this is dancing in your living room. I just got off a client call and she was dancing with her daughter. And it just reminded me of the joy we miss out on. I'm so proud of her, by the way, and all that she has accomplished and continuing to accomplish. But just the joy that we miss out on. Try a walk in nature. Stretch on your front porch. Ask yourself, how does my body want to move today? And then honor that answer. This isn't about counting steps. This is about reclaiming your relationship with movement from an obligation mindset to celebration. You get to do something today versus earning it. And then here's a bonus tip. When you find yourself seeking approval from other people, or hiding behind that mask, pause and ask, what validation do I need to give myself right now? What validation do you need? It's not from other people. It's not how other people see you. When I came back from treatment, I knew I had gained a significant amount of weight. And the first thing that came to my mind was, gosh, what are other people gonna think? Are they gonna recognize me? Are they gonna make comments? Sis, This was my journey, just as though this is your journey. And I had to learn over time that no matter the comments, I had to be okay with me. I had to know that this was the best thing I could have done for myself and my beautiful life. So I want you to start there. Be a revolution to your own self. If this episode has lit a fire in your soul, and if you're ready to stop earning your worth through restriction and to start claiming your power through being present with other people, then today is your invitation to take some action. The belonging that you're seeking, girl, it isn't hiding. It isn't hiding in a smaller you. It's not waiting for you at your goal weight or your lowest weight. It's available to you right now, in this body, in this moment, exactly as you are. And I think that's really hard for some of us to receive, that other people will approve of us or not. But I want you to ask yourself, are they living your life or are you? In my Best Self Breakthrough program and my one-on-one personalized support coaching through the Freedom Formula experience, we don't just heal your relationship with food. We revolutionize the way that you view yourself and your worth. Together, girl, we are getting you understanding that your belonging was never something that you needed to earn. It was something that you just needed to step into. You just needed to embody it. If you're ready to stop shrinking and to start really shining in your purpose and all that God has for you, I want you to head on over to herbestself.co. You can fill out a client application and we can start partnering together. What I want you to take away from today's show is that you do not need permission to belong. You just need to step and own and be in your own lane and claim it for yourself. Your revolution, it starts now. What are you doing this week to just attack it so that you can become the very best version of you, which is unrestricted in all that life brings? I love you, girl. Talk to you real soon. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.